Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're taking a look at Steamrollers, basically Railways of the World, the Roll and Write edition by Stronghold Games.
In case you didn't hear, this is the roll and write version of Railways of the World, essentially, because it's a pick up and deliver game where you're building tracks on the map, you need to upgrade your engine to deliver further away, and
there's different color cubes all over the map, and you have to deliver that color cube back to that color station. So
there's special powers you can get, but everybody has a pad that matches the pad out here, so all the resources are on the main board, and then this is symbolizing you making your own tracks on this board. So the biggest difference that Aaron was saying is that you can't use anybody else's track.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So yeah, in Railways, you could, I build a track here and a track here, and you built one in the middle. I'm just going to give you a victory point by using your track. In this, it's all kind of solitaire, but we're all competing for resources as well.
Correct. So it is all, like, the drawing of the tracks is solitaire, but because this is a dice drafting game, which I think most roll and writes have that in there to create the interaction, and we're all gunning for these things, there's a lot of player interaction. It's definitely not a multiplayer solitaire game.
And it helps the game go really quickly and stay really clean. Because again, I'm not looking at okay, whose track is that? Railways of the World can get really clustered up in the middle of the board. You can't tell what city is what, and the map, trying to figure out whose train is on what track, and they're all zigzagging around each other. This is just, I look at this and it's I just see my train. Sometimes I have to be okay, I've got that. Okay.
Especially if you have it upside down.
Yeah.
Like this.
You need to orient it the same way as the map on the board, because not everybody's going to see it the same way, and that definitely helps to.
And I think it just helps the game move forward smoother too, because there's less jumbled on the board, and you do want to a little bit look at okay, he's connected there too, so he could also deliver this blue cube. So maybe I want to do that before I do this other thing, but it's not just a mess in front of you.
And because it's dice drafting, you can't do everything you want on your turn. It's you want to take this certain action, but if the right dice didn't come up, you won't be able to take that action. If you wanted to deliver from the 5 spot, but there's no 5, oh well. I mean, maybe you can buy one of these upgrade tiles that allow you to change a 4 to a 5.
Yeah, that is definitely, that's my favorite part about this game. The Powerup tiles are so good. I really like that you can steal them from other players, which is another way that this game has interaction in there. And some of those special abilities are just so dope. They also include in here, there's kind of 3 mini expansions. There are these orders here where it's the first person to get rid of, so instead of collecting the when you deliver the cubes, instead of putting them back in the bag, you just put them in front of you in your player area. So the first person to get rid of 3 green cubes gets 3 points, 3 whites gets 3, or that's grays. 3 grays gets 3 points.
Which is also very similar to some of the Railways of the World cards out there. It's the first person to deliver one of each of the 4 colors gets bonus points.
These are really cool. Everyone starts out with ridges, a mountain, an impassable mountain that you draw on your map. So everybody will okay, we're gonna roll a die. We're doing number 4 here. Okay, everybody draw these lines on your map. You can't go through there, and that just adds depth to the game, and you have to strategize differently instead of just okay, I'm gonna hook everything up to this hub and just deliver through.
Do the H that's the most efficient or whatever. Now that is actually almost a way of them doing different maps. By putting those lines there, you kind of create different maps. And I remember I was thinking, I was ooh, I would love for them to come up with an expansion that's just a different pad with things being different. But with that, you kind of don't really need a new pad. The only thing is if you want the numbers to be corresponding to different colors. But the third mini expansion that's included in here is player powers, but I didn't play with those, so I'm not going to talk about them.
But it's in the box.
You do get a lot of value in here. You have so many sheets here that are all double-sided. You get those 3 mini expansions, and it's just...
You get a golden train.
You know
how much a golden train is worth? If it was a real train?
And if it was real gold?
This game is very accessible. It's very easy to teach. It's a drafting game, so you're going to roll the dice. You're taking one of those die. If you choose to deliver with it, that's one thing. You're just okay, I'm going to deliver. But if you're drawing, there's one more die that gets rolled that tells you what types of corners you can draw. It's either the sharp or the light corner or a straight edge, but you can't draw all 3 all the time. So it really changes up what's available each round.
If you're like, I need to make this link right here.
Yeah.
So I need this to come up and this to come up, and like there's two different things that could mess up that. I guess more than that, like the dice could not be there, or somebody else could draft that dice before you.
But it's simple. It's dice, and you can see, like, I think everyone having their separate sheet is what makes it simpler. Like, not having that crowded board like you do in Railways, where you're like, okay, can I actually deliver this? Do I, like, you see your board, you've drawn your lines, whether you draw the little lines on it to make it look like a real railroad, or if you just draw a big fat bold line. You know, it's your map. Do what you want with it.
The other thing that I think helps it become simplified is because it's drafting, you only have so many options, especially if you're not going first in the draft. Like, if you're teaching it to someone, you say, okay, so all you need to worry about right now is there's these three dice out there, and you pick one of those, and then which track, and that's all you can do. So, like, you can really simplify, like, there may be more going on, but all you need to worry about right now is doing this thing. And then, like, we'll let them work their way into the game.
Yeah, there are this many things you can do in the game, but on your turn it goes this or this. The only complaint I do have with the game is at endgame scoring, you always get points for all of the cubes you've delivered, and then you get points for the connected cities. So there's the big cities as the die faces, and then the little cities with towns or whatever with the dots. You get points if you connect city to city or city dot city. But if you just have a connection to the dot, and that dot doesn't then go to a city, to a die face, it's no points. And I kind of feel like you should still get points for that as a way of, like, a last-ditch effort. You know, there's nothing really else here that you can deliver. You roll a dice, hey, I'll just make this one track right here, boom, scoop up a point.
I do really like, though, with the scoring, that, like, it's still contained onto this one sheet. Like, it's there's really clear. Yeah, it's really clear. You make your little X's as you go along. So, again, it's a clean game. It's probably my favorite roll and write I've played.
Really? I think this might be my number 2 favorite roll and write. I still think I like Fleet, the dice game, better.
Ooh, I haven't played that one since the Kickstarter preview, so I hadn't really thought about that one. But this one's really good too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I also really enjoy this game. I think it does a great job of being a roll and write. It's also a really good train game. I know there's some train games that people are like, oh, it's a train game. No, this one's great. This is awesome. I recommend you pick it up. We all recommend it. We'll have a link in the description box down below. If it sounds interesting to you, you should click on it and get yourself a copy right now.
Whether you do or don't, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
You get a golden train. You know how much a golden train is worth? Like, if it was a real train?
And if it was real gold?
If it was actually just money. Cut the last one. 2's enough.